So this is going to be a commentary on commentary stream. I'm going to be looking back at my own commentary from the last Capcom Pro Tour, which was 2 weeks ago, and I commentated with St. Cola on it. It was the CPT Online NA East? Maybe this was a few weeks ago. Whatever. Time passes strangely nowadays. I like looking back at my own commentary. I haven't had that many opportunities this year, which is why I haven't done that many of these streams. But typically, after I do a big event, I go back next week or a couple weeks later, and I analyze it, and I see, what do I think I did well? What do I think I did poorly? What can I improve on? If I can improve on something, how do I do that? When I began commentating, James and I worked on this together all the time. We both gave each other tons of advice, lots of feedback. Not that many people were doing it, so it was rare to get external help in a way that was actually helpful. I mean, there were plenty of people who were like, these guys are terrible, or these guys are good, and it wasn't like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing here, but here's a way to improve. Like, that just didn't really happen. So it was on us, more or less, and even still, that's largely true. So it's been a process that I've been doing for many, many years. Last year on commentary, I tried to mix it up a little bit. So I've had this style, this kind of like personal style on commentary for many years, which is more informative and maybe a little less silly than I am in real life. In real life, I'm pretty silly. And I think that didn't really come across in a lot of my commentary. And sometimes it would, but that was if I was specifically paired up with certain people. I don't know, something about being paired up with like Eris or Tasty Steve or a couple other people felt like it was easier for me to bring that side of myself out, but many other commentary pairings, I didn't feel like I was doing a great job of that. So what I wanted to do last year was to try to institute more of that. And I did that in a couple different ways. One was by not relying as much on the informational side of commentary. So rather than spending my time resources, which is kind of how I view commentary, on telling you whether something is -2 or +5 or whatever, something informational, I wanted to do something instead. I wanted to have a little silly point of narration. I wanted to get the same maybe idea across, but in a way that was more personality driven than just straight informationally. So that's what I tried to work on last year. I think that it went okay. I think I might have gone overboard on it sometimes. I think I may have let that get away from me too much in some instances. Sometimes I think I did a great job of nailing the little intersection between the two. Did you just have it say nay? I love it. So I think I did an okay job at that idea. I just think that sometimes maybe I did it too much, and that was the feedback that I got from some of my friends in commentary. There's really only a couple of people who I talk with commentary about. James, Steven, Yipes sometimes, Logan sometimes, but like usually not. Usually it's just me. So when I get feedback from other people, it's important for me to like take that seriously and work on it. And that was some of the feedback that I got, that I was maybe a little bit too far on this side of having the more personality driven side rather than the informational side. So I think what I want to do now is find the balance between those two. I'm not sure that's ever going to be something that will be done. I think that process is probably just not going to be complete, but I do think that I could do a better job of that. So that's part of what I want to do this year. I mean, look, obviously this year didn't go how anybody planned. This year I had planned to try that more often. This year I had planned to really get good at a couple of games in a way that would allow me to have a better perspective than I felt like I had before. Not just on the informational side, but on the strategic side. I've always felt like I've been pretty good on that stuff, but I'm definitely better at both Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat now than like I was last year or whatever. And I felt like that was, so these are my goals, right? Anyway, it didn't end up working out really, as you know. And this is the first CPT event that I got to commentate. So that was part of what I wanted to do here. I'm going to look at this commentary set that I did with St. Cola. A little bit about me going into this set. Okay. So St. Cola has been commentating for a few years. We had him on the Tuesday show the other night, and he talked about his commentary history, which was very interesting to me. He had wanted to do it for years and finally got up the gumption to in 2018 is what I believe he said. And he's put in an incredible amount of work since then. He said he was commentating 5 or 6 times a week. So he's put in a lot of work, and he's really taken it seriously and like broken down his own commentary. How can I improve? What can I do better? But this was his first CPT event, and he was nervous for it. And so I knew that, and going into it, I wanted to try to create an easy path for him to get in. I mean, certainly a major goal on commentary is the fact that, especially, well, if it is a two or more person commentary, that you're a co-commentator, right? You have not just you, who's supposed to be up there doing good stuff, looking good, but you have this co-commentator. And it's not just on the co-commentator for them to do good stuff. You also have to set them up for it. You have to throw them the alleys, and they got to dunk it down. I mean, that's you have to have both sides of this so that things go the best that they can. So I'm very concerned with trying to make sure that my co-commentator can do as well as they can. So I want to, especially in the case of somebody who's doing a CPT for the first time, I want to provide some like a pathway for them to follow, for them to figure it out. I mean, I want them to be their own commentator, but I want also to make it clear to themselves, like, if you're unsure what to do in this situation, I can handle it. If you haven't been here before, here's what to do. You know, tell them stuff as we were on breaks about how these things function and what you could be doing. Sometimes that didn't really work, and in part it didn't really work because of just technical issues like CFN putting me like way behind on commentary a couple of times. You know, we're just watching on our own CFN accounts, and sometimes on Street Fighter V CFN, it just has you in the lobby way behind everybody else. You just see it late. And that happened a few times, and on those times it was on him to just do the commentary, and that's a bummer, but that's kind of how it worked out. But I think in general he did a good job. And part of what I want to analyze today about myself is how good of a job did I do at sort of building this pathway for him to get in more easily. So I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at, as I was saying earlier, the idea of bringing back some of the informational style that I feel like I purposely ditched last year in favor of more personality-driven ideas. I want to have a better mix of those two. I want information sometimes. I want personality sometimes. Both of these. So these are the two main things that I'm going to be looking at as I analyze my commentary. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I'm not sure I would say that that's unsung. I think that's extremely important. Extremely important to enjoy a game that you're commentating. You can tell. You can absolutely tell when somebody doesn't enjoy a game, almost always. For a couple of reasons, right? If you don't enjoy the game, you're not going to play it, and you're just going to know less. You may know the frame data, maybe you've looked it up, but you will not know about all the little weird interactions. You don't know that stuff, because you haven't been there. You haven't been in those situations yourself. You don't need to be like a top player to be a commentator, even a good commentator. But you do need to have been in those situations. Like, you have to have some knowledge about it. And if you don't enjoy a game, you're not going to have less knowledge on that stuff. And the informational side of your game will suffer. But also, obviously, the excitement will suffer. If you don't think what's happening is exciting, you're not going to bring that across because you yourself will not be excited. And so how can you like impart to the viewers which parts are exciting, what's interesting? You know, some of that will be obvious, especially to viewers who know what's up. Some of it's going to be less obvious, and in those cases, it's on the commentator to bring that through. And if you don't care about what's happening, you're going to let that stuff drop. You're not going to notice it. I don't want to have anybody's stream experience be worse because I want to commentate. No. And I don't want to have some potential commentator who doesn't get a chance because I want to commentate, even if it's a game I don't care about. That sucks on a couple sides, so we quit it.
Hey, welcome back to the Capcom Pro Tour Online North America East number 2. This is the top 8 that we have today. My name is UltraDavid, and with me, St. Cola.
How's it going, people? And how's it going, UltraDavid? And how are you actually feeling about these brackets coming on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think this intro is maybe not, it's not like a memorable one, or anything like that. But as far as like just a workman-like, I introduced it. I didn't have any execution errors. I think very fighting game-like, as I'm sure you can tell about my commentary. Execution errors, meaning, did I flub? Did I stutter? You know, that kind of thing. Did I have some filler word I shouldn't have had? Welcome to the CPT. You know, no. And that's great. That's great. Yo, I did get carded last year. I put this story on Twitter. I went to the store last year. I just shaved. I had much shorter hair at the time. And, God, I must have had 8 inches shorter hair. That's crazy. My hair's so long nowadays. Anyway, I walked to the store. I forgot to bring my ID. And I was there. I just shaved, you know. They carded me. And they would not sell me booze. They would not. I got grays back here. I mean, maybe, I guess my hair, again, was shorter, so maybe less obvious. But, like, come on. Maybe I look younger than some, at the time I was 36. Maybe I look younger than some 36-year-olds. Do I look 15 years younger? No. Like, I know that. I know. So that was really stupid. But, yeah, it does happen sometimes. It does. All right. Let's talk about this commentary. So again, the intro here I think is okay. It's not remarkable. Like, this is not like you wouldn't look back and be like, wow, this is a fantastic example of David doing some funny intro, memorable intro. Nah, it's just, and that's, I don't know, that's all right.
Hey, welcome back to the Capcom Pro Tour Online North America East number 2. This is the top 8 that we have today. My name is UltraDavid, and with me, St. Polo.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should try to institute a little bit more. Maybe this is an opportunity for more personality than I just gave it. I was keeping eye contact with the camera, and I was gesticulating a little bit, which I want to do. I mean, I'm doing it naturally anyway. This is how I talk. But I want to have that energy that is hopefully coming across. And so I did those things, but, you know, maybe I could make that a little bit more interesting than it was. Yeah, do you see how big this guy is? Look at these. Huge. Huge on the left. I introduced St. Cola in this, and this is something that changes. Sometimes I just say, hey, I'm UltraDavid. Boop. You know, and I now think, okay, now it's time for my co-commentator to say that I'm whoever. Right now it's their turn. I wanted to say this is me and this is him in this instance because, again, part of my goal here is to make this less rough on St. Cola than it could have been. The first time you're commentating CPT. I mean, he's a good commentator, but like I said, this is, you know, he was nervous, understandably. He wants to make this go well. I just want to give him like an easy onboarding process. And yeah, that was the idea behind this. So we had talked in advance about just going into the bracket.
How's it going, people?
That's what we did.
And how are you actually feeling about these brackets?
Part of the thing on commentary is that you lead, in some sense, what gets shown on screen. Very commonly, the person who's running the stream will leave it up to you, and once you say, all right, let's check out the bracket, then here's the bracket, right? Now we talk about it. So you're leading in some ways, and they don't throw it a break, almost always, until you say, let's go to break. But sometimes you have to follow. Here's an instance of when we have to follow. Like, I don't think that we had talked about going into the bracket, but I think this is maybe faster than we had expected. I think it's faster than St. Cola expected.
And how's it going, UltraDavid? And how are you actually feeling about these brackets coming on this screen we have in the winners?
But he did a good job at just seeing immediately that, oh, hey, here's the bracket. Let's talk about it. So that was good.
CJ Truth versus Endemic Shine. And then after that, Rise of Smug versus Dan Slip. But who's in the losers bracket there?
Yeah, if you look down there, you're going to see a couple of maybe surprises, really. That's NuckleDude versus Rob TV. We'll talk a little bit more about that later as far as why that may be a surprise. Terrence and Brutus are on the other side of losers down there. So we have quite a few different characters on deck for you all. Of course, this is all NA East, but within that, we have everything from Florida to Ontario, Canada. So we have a huge geographic range which is always awesome to see as well. Lots of different play styles involved here. Lots of players who have been up in this kind of situation in the past, including right at the very apex of Street Fighter V, and others who are still on the come up. So there's a lot of cool things to see here today, a lot of cool storylines that we're going to get through.
Pretty happy with that, not gonna lie. I've always said this, if you do something well, you have to give yourself props to reinforce that in yourself. I think I did that well. There were lots of variations in inflection. I do not want to speak boringly. I think that my voice is like a little bit more prone to that than some's. I mentioned Steve earlier. Steve is all over the place. His voice is going up and it's going down, and it's just constantly mixing it up. He's very effusive. And me, although in real life I'm pretty silly, I do think that my voice maybe is a little bit more susceptible to what I'm doing right now, this monotone kind of feeling where I'm just saying words, and there's maybe some slight variations in whether it's up or down, but it's like not a lot. I think I'm prone to that. So I want to avoid that. I want it to be, I want the pitch to be changing. I'm looking for different inflection points. I'm trying to emphasize different things at different times. I'm trying to maintain strong execution. So I didn't flub. I didn't have a filler word. I didn't stutter. I'm prone to stuttering. I just did it, right? This is something that I've had forever. I'm not bad. I wouldn't characterize myself as struggling with stuttering. But I would also say that, yeah, I stutter sometimes. And I avoided that here. So I was pretty happy. That's cool. That's cool. How do we know what gets shown to viewers, huh? Do we have a special screen? Yeah, yes, we do. We do. There's a screen. This is not always true in online tournaments, but for the way that they were running this here, yeah, there was a little screen that we were watching. What was that, on Discord? Or was that on Zoom? Now I don't remember which one it was, but we were watching a feed of what was going to go out to the stream. So yeah, we got to know. Thanks. You are constantly storytelling. Absolutely right. Yeah. Oh, my bad.
And one of those cool storylines is that CJ Truth is the only returning one from NA East top 8, right? He's the only returnee. The rest are brand new faces in terms of top 8 placements here at the NA East. So, this is their last shot, right? We said this before. We're going to say it again. NA East 2 is the last one, people. So, all the top 8 are fighting at their hearts to get this last spot, qualification for Capcom Cup next year.
Do you see this cutie on the right? Oh my god, I look so young. Shoutouts to Zoom. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So DR Mandrake has already qualified for NA East. That was in NA East #1. He actually made it into the top 16, didn't end up making it this far. Was trying to play spoiler, of course. But yeah, it'll be somebody new. We have also, of course, know that IDOM will be at Capcom Cup, having won the thing last year. So at least a couple out of the North American East region will be represented. At least a few, I should say, will be represented, which will be great to see. We are going to start off with the match that you were just briefly talking about, which will be CJ Truth and Shine. So CJ got here in part by beating NuckleDo to qualify for top 8. And in doing so, I think we saw a lot about why he's so strong. His amazing patience, his understanding of when to look for things to react to, and his fantastic reactions to boot. He really does a great job at shutting down what a lot of people want to do. You think of Cammy as being a pressure character, maybe. He certainly has that, but I think what really sets him apart is his excellent ability to control the tempo with that character and to react with that character.
Absolutely.
Boy, I talked a long time right there. That was super long. How long was that? I'm actually going to look at the time here. So we ended this in the video that I have here. This is 1 hour, 17 minutes, 53 seconds. When did I start talking?
Right, we said this before. We're going to say it again. NA East 2 is the last one, people. So all the top 8 are going to be fighting at their hearts to get this last spot, qualification for Capcom Cup next year.
Yeah, that's right. So,
all right, more than a minute. That's pretty long. Maybe too long. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, as I was saying earlier, part of my goal here was to make the onboarding for St. Cola a little easier. So part of what I wanted to do here was just, I don't know, show how I typically handle these situations. And maybe sometimes there's more back and forth, but I wanted to talk about how you have to establish things, right? You have to, I don't know, I guess I call it the establishing process. How do you make apparent to the viewers where we are, why we're here, why do you care, what's interesting, what's the background, what's the backstory, all that sort of stuff. And I think maybe too often tournaments start and you kind of have to just know. You know, as somebody who watches, you maybe just know, maybe you watched yesterday, you saw the top 16 before, maybe maybe you saw it on Twitter or whatever, you know, but many people will not. Many people will not know what happened, and so you have to, I think, get in there at least a little bit and talk about what happened, why, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, DR Mandrake has already qualified for NA East. That was in NA East #1. He actually made it into the top 16, didn't end up making it this far. Was trying to play spoiler, of course. But yeah, it'll be somebody new. We have also, of course.
That's a pretty common spot where if I were St. Cola, I think I may have gone for the interruption. Without intending it to be an interruption, but that sounds to me, as I'm listening back to it.
Was trying to play spoiler, of course. But yeah, it'll be somebody.
It's a weird laugh. That was weird.
We have also, of course, know that IDOM will be at somebody new, of course. But yeah, it'll be somebody new.
That sounds to me like I'm giving it up. And I didn't. So I probably could have had a better pitch on that to make that seem a little bit less like it was the transition point.
We have also, of course, know that IDOM will be at Capcom Cup, having won the thing last. Start off with the match that you were just briefly talking about, which will be CJ Truth and Shine. So CJ got here in part by beating NuckleDu to qualify for top 8. And in doing so, I think we saw a lot about why he's so strong. His amazing patience, his understanding of when to look for things to react to, and his fantastic reactions to boot. He really does a great job at shutting down what a lot of people want to do. You think of Cammy as being a pressure character, maybe. He certainly has that, but I think what really sets him apart is his excellent ability to control the tempo with that character and to react with that character.
I mean, the description's fine. I just think that I probably should have cut that off a little bit sooner. It's not a big deal, but maybe ideally, either I would have had a different phrasing that didn't make it seem like it was about to be the transition where now it's Cole's turn to talk, or maybe I just like cut it off. You know, either one of those would probably have been better, but you know, not a huge deal.
Absolutely, and we're gonna be seeing those reactions and how
the Logan, oh no. You gotta interrupt sometimes. You have to get in there sometimes. You can't get pressured. Sometimes you gotta have a reversal, right? you can't just get rushed down constantly. And sometimes when two commentators haven't commentated with each other before, that's more likely to be an issue where you don't quite know yet what the other person's rhythms are. When do they tend to end sentences? When do they tend to end thoughts? You know, when's it my turn? Sometimes it's a little bit less clear. But also sometimes if you have commentated with somebody for super long, you may come to know when they think that it's time to ramble, when they begin just saying stuff without having a real goal in mind, or when they find it difficult to end the thought. Sometimes you just got to get in there. Just whoop, take your turn. Just depends. Anyway,
come up against Shine.
We got a match
this
finally.
Is CPT NA East 2. Let's get it.
All right, well, we just spent a little bit of time talking about CJ. As far as Shine on the left side here, you have a very strong player who qualified, yes, in part with Ibuki, but also the character that actually made it through was Jury, which is kind of cool to see back here with Ibuki to start out top 8.
That's right. I mean, he said his Ibuki was nice, and it was no slouch to get him. You know, he took down Rob TV. So you know what? We can't tell him different. But right now, as you said before, we are seeing the Ibuki pick, and I feel like if you're in the top 8, the winner side, you're gonna be using your.
Did you hear how far behind I was? That's me reacting to crouching jab buffer DP.
Right now, as you said before, we are seeing the
which took place here at 1 hour, 18 minutes, 28 seconds.
And I feel like if you're in the top 8,
that's a full 3 seconds behind. CFN is so weird sometimes.
the winner side, you're going to be using your most practiced character.
Sounds right to me. Okay, comes in here with great timing on the crouching pierce. Already a ton of damage, already a ton of stun. Oh, he's stealing a turn here is Sean.
I'm so behind. There's just nothing to be done about this, you know? As far as, like, what could I do? I can't have better tech. We're just stuck watching on CFN. But I'm clearly so behind. Listen to this.
He took down Rob TV, so you know what? We can't tell him different. But right now, as you said before, we are seeing the Ibuki pick, and I feel like if you're in the top 8, the winner side, you're going to be using your most practiced character.
Sounds right to me. Okay, comes in here with great timing on the crouching pierce. Already a ton of damage, already a ton of stun. Oh, he's stealing a turn.
At least 3 seconds behind. That's hard. I didn't realize this yet. I mean, I'm in the first round. I'm not watching chat at this time. Chat is how I ended up finding out that I was behind, but I didn't know yet.
Here is Shine into mix-up.
Like, it had already happened, right? Oh my god.
I didn't block it. You at home didn't block it.
I didn't block it. I was crouch blocking. I don't know. I might have been blocking the other way. Who even knows? But there he was ready.
Absolutely. It's the activation and the back throw. I like that. Using that position with a wake up DP again. No cook on that. No EX. Just DP tartar, baby.
Wow. Okay. Some gutsy things on both sides of the equation so far.
I think I might know at this point. So the question is, how do you deal with commentary where you cannot be live? You're even less live than usual. Like, we're at home, obviously. We're not literally like at a live location, but I'm seconds behind, clearly. So how do you approach that? Well, my idea, I hadn't actually thought about this beforehand. This hadn't been an issue for me. I've been commentating mostly Mortal Kombat online lately, and when I have commentated Street Fighter, it's been a different arrangement. So in this, we were on CFN. We were in lobbies. So like, I was in a lobby with St. Cola, with the people who were actually running the tournament, and with the 2 players. And that means we're kind of subject to CFN. I've also commentated Street Fighter in a different way, which is that we 2 commentators are not in a lobby. Instead, the person who's running the stream is in the lobby. They're the observer, and they then pump that video out to Discord. And then we are on Discord or in a Zoom call watching Discord, whatever, it gets complicated. And so the 2 commentators are watching the stuff at the same time. They're getting those feeds at the same time. And so nobody really feels behind. So this is the first time that I've done like this style of just CFN Street Fighter V commentary in like a while, I guess. And lately I haven't had this problem of being way behind. Anyway, now I'm way behind. I'm thinking about it. How do you approach it? The way that I decided to approach it was that I didn't feel like I could do any on-the-fly stuff anymore. No longer could I talk about the moments that were happening in real time. I couldn't comment on a specific decision. I couldn't get excited when a specific thing happens, because there's gonna be something sick, and then 5 seconds later I'll come in and be like, wow. What do you mean, wow? It's already way too late. So instead, what I wanted to do was, now it's on St. Cola to do all this stuff, and maybe in between rounds, or when I'm hoping there's downtime, I'll have something to say. Again, I don't know that I've realized this yet. I think I have. I guess we'll see in commentary on this next round how I deal with that. But I certainly at some point I figured this out and I tried to make that change. All right.
When you're in a first to 3 position, like, you have time to kind of play around a little bit. Obviously, you got to be super careful about what you do as the set goes on. But those are things you can put in the mind of the opponent, like, oh, I'm going to be doing this, and you have to watch out for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Shine doing a great job of pushing the opponent into the corner. Here's a little challenge.
It's already over. Yeah. Okay, I guess I didn't realize. But do you see how late I was there? Okay, so Shine's pushing CJ into the corner.
Oh, I'm going to be doing this.
Still pushing him into the corner.
You have to watch out for.
Still pushing him into the corner.
Right?
It's over. 82 seconds on the clock.
Shine doing a great job of pushing the opponent into the corner.
Oh, I guess I was less late than I realized. Why, on the first listen through.
Shine doing a great job of pushing the opponent into the corner.
Well, I guess really, I would have said that while that pressure was still happening. Anyway, obviously I'm a couple seconds late.
Here's a little challenge out of CJ. Does not want to be stuck there.
Looking for the activation
I
point.
think that was supposed to have been dive kick.
Oh yeah, I don't know that I'm late yet, I guess. I guess I haven't read chat yet.
But to get the corner, of course.
Wow, what a deep D to catch the Mario jump. I love that awareness. Again, you know, this CJ Truth is super strong on his anti-airs. His DPs are pretty much pristine.
Yeah, that's a Fei Long player for you right there, and somebody who has great rate.
Okay, I think I do know now, because that's not something that I would typically say in the middle of a match. I would not typically begin talking about how he has, like, whatever his personal strengths are. Maybe if there's a match where there's a lot of just back and forth footsies movement, there's not a lot of, like, fast action. But he just activated V-Trigger, and, like, it's party time. So I think this is an indication that I know now that I'm behind, and all I can really contribute to this conversation is something that's history, general mindset, generalities.
Reactions. Just saw crouching
Later on, Gandalf.
Shine. It was no confirm, unfortunately for him, but he's back in the party. Wow,
Oh, the
block again.
overhead!
Oh my god.
Maybe I don't know. It's now hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Maybe I've seen it in chat and I'm not sure it's true
And
yet.
he had nothing to release. But Shine comes back in and takes game number 1.
Okay. Shine, just taking those moments that, you know, and really optimizing them, right? He finds he threads the needle. He finds these moments and he makes them happen. And I love that about Shine. But I'm seeing the signs of life from CJ Truth, the DPs and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't say this is going to be one of those sets where it's going to be a blowout, right? Those are close games already, and we're going right back into it. Shine versus CJ Truth.
I hope that I know now, but I don't remember exactly when I learned, but I feel like there were indications in that last round that I think I knew, but I'm also not super sure. Was the match jumping for me? No, it was just late. It was just late the whole time.
Like you said, it's a 3 out of 5 set. Trying to get into winners finals.
He's still coming through, using that rear back to avoid. And staying at that perfect distance, too, to challenge that medium kick.
I love this little spacing that Shine is managing to keep. It's just outside of that easy dive kick range. It's inside his own V-skill. Wow, baited. Not to really much effect, but it's cool. Maybe makes his opponent think twice about it next time.
The dive kick, yep, challenge. The walk-up throw.
I guess we're both behind. I mean, that's gonna happen. It's CFN.
Looking for that activation. Both of them actually have trigger. Locked and loaded on the deck.
Ooh, nothing there on the crouch medium. Okay. Didn't have bar. Well, you know what? It ends up working out for Shine here. And yes, the round. So look, he continues to be really strong. I like a lot of what we're seeing on. Didn't have bar. Well, you know what? It ends up working out for Shine here. And yes,
I understand why Sankola thought that it was a transition point.
the round. So look, he continues to be really strong. I like a lot of what we're seeing out of him. He's playing at a great spot, like I said, that it's at a spot where finding the dive kick is not as easy for CJ. I really like what Shine's playing around with his spacing. It's cool.
Just as you said that, he's able to move on through, get the target combo, throw, EX, and he doesn't go in too far. I love that he's not overextending, but now, here's a scammy cami into the corner with the chiropractor throw.
Just trying to maintain this corner control, and that beast, even from the corner, managed to find the right spot on things. Well, okay, a little funky right there already. Both bars of that V-trigger are gone.
He's still coming through again. And again, Shine just outside the distance. Max range EXDP. And he's got bar to work with. He's looking for that point to activate, to get that health down. And this, you know, with Ibuki, you got to put a little bit more mix on it, but she's still super strong when it pops. When you find that confirm, you got to find the confirm. That's what he's looking for. That one hit to do it.
And he's waiting for it too. He's not forcing. Okay, now he does finally force the issue after waiting for a good 5-10 seconds. Finally gets the opener and then nothing.
The dive kick
And here
lands
now is
raw.
CJ.
A lot of
Did he back off knowing exactly what was coming? And did he get over the V skill like that? Come on. That's it, back in the mix here.
Another
Not
trigger coming
plus,
through.
Yeah, it's minus nowadays. And he had no EX bar there for EXDP to channel. So smart play by CJ.
I mentioned that I wanted to have more informational commentary again, and I feel like I haven't been doing that really. And right there, I don't know why I wouldn't say it's just punishable. Why would I say it's just minus? That's weird. That was a change that they had made this season. Right, that's this season, I think. That Ibuki is now actually punishable if she does that point blank. And CJ had to punish. I mean, he had jab, right? It was jab punish.
Channel. No EX bar.
Coming through.
Yeah, it's back in the mix here.
Yeah, you could just punish. I mean, this could have just been jab, crouching jab, back strong, roundhouse, like something like that. It could have just gotten the kill. But he didn't. I don't know why I didn't say that. So that's, I think a lot of this has been okay so far. I mean, with the understanding that, like, I'm way behind. But actually, there I wasn't behind, was I? Shoutouts to CFN.
Another trigger coming through.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I was a little bit behind. Okay, but not by much. Not by much. I should have just said it's punishable. I don't know. That's weird.
Minus nowadays. And he had no EX bar there for EXDP to channel. So smart play by CJ.
Wait, did I forget that it's just punishable now? That might have been the issue here. That might have been the issue, because I mentioned EXDP challenge, which used to work when it was just -2. But now it's just straight up punishable. So maybe I just forgot. Okay, great.
CJ trying to, encroach on that space a little bit more. Trying to get on in there and understand when Shine wants to activate too. Like, being a little bit more with the resources, I think it's super smart. So we can keep pace up with Shine. These skills coming through again, just building up that bar. Closer and closer, and then Shine just harassing with that crouching mid kick that, on hit doesn't do much. On counter hit does, does a lot more. Not comparison, obviously, to Cammy, but, a tempo of that gameplay. And I like CJ trying to neutral jump, but just outside the distance, down to crouching, meeting kick, no. Confirmed.
Surprised he didn't just link out of that. That was actually the first button he had pressed in so long.
I don't remember what happened here. Was I having... Would I have mic problems or something? I went so long without talking, and I was waiting for myself to come back in and see what I was going to say. But this was like 20 seconds, right, of me not talking.
That space a little bit more. Trying to get on in there and understand when Shine wants to activate too. Like, being a little bit more with the resources, I think it's super smart. So we can keep pace up with Shine.
I feel like I'm talking here. I don't know. It's just it's weird for me to not talk for this long.
Skills coming through again, just building up that bar. Closer and closer, and then Shine just harassing with that crouching mid kick that, on hit doesn't do much. On counter hit does, does a lot more. Not comparison, obviously, to Cammy, but, a tempo of that gameplay. And I like CJ trying to neutral jump, but just outside the distance, down to crouching, meeting kick, no. Confirmed.
Surprising.
35 seconds in game. Wow. I wonder if, I just don't remember now. Was there a tech problem that I just had to solve on my end or something? I wonder, because that's really uncharacteristic for me. I don't know. I don't remember. But that was a really long time. And then, if that's what happened, then I guess coming back in the way that I did makes sense. If you are commentating for 30 seconds and the co-commentator doesn't provide anything at all, then it makes sense that you would just keep going. That you just keep talking. But, when you come back from not talking for 30 seconds, you gotta, like, barge in, right? Knock down the door, all right? And I think that's what I may have been doing here. But I don't remember why I didn't talk for 30 plus seconds. Did I? Wow, you have a better memory about my own stories than me. Which is not uncommon, believe me. Okay, a tech issue? Yeah. Yep. Weird. Online commentator is pretty weird. Anyway, let's move on.
Didn't just link out of that. That was actually the first button he had pressed in so long.
So I was watching that the whole time? Oh, don't get me wrong, man. Silliness is super important. But the idea of, like, I want to be silly in a way that it doesn't just make up some nonsense. Or if I want to make up some nonsense, which I guess I do sometimes, I want it to be, like, clearly supposed to be a joke. Whether successful or not. I want it to, like, be pretty clear that this is a joke. Anyway, I don't understand how. I guess I must have been watching because I just said that whoever hadn't pressed a button in a long time. I don't know what to tell you about this, like, 30 seconds of me not saying anything. That's really weird. Maybe tech issue? I'm not sure.
He is playing super patiently. He's neutral jumped a few times, but that crouching medium kick was honestly the first button he pressed in 10 seconds, and it was surgical. It did hit. Here comes up, force the crap. Well, maybe I started talking it up too soon. Right back in here, Shine.
DJ trying to get out of the corner. Back throw. I love the positioning. Changing places. Trading spaces. And now, all this distance to walk back with time winding down. Both of them will actually look a little bit even. I think CJ has a little bit more health.
I think you're right. Yeah, with 30 seconds left, though, there's plenty of time. And just gets a little bit of chip, a little bit of gray. And then gets through. This is huge with this amount of life lead. He played so patiently at the end right there that CJ just walking back just in case.
Again, weird to not have commentated for 35 seconds. I don't know what went on there. But other than that, I think it's okay. Getting back from an extended stint of saying nothing in a context in which you cannot see your co-commentator basically has to be done by just barging in. And so I did that. And other than that, yeah, I think it was okay. I don't know. I don't have any big complaints.
I love that. He saw the fear in his eyes, and he went with it.
Giant St. Cola face. That's so funny.
That's kind of a risk in and of itself, right? Because you already have the lead. But at the same time, Ibuki's a character that can kind of chase you down with some of her moves. He is kunai and things like that. And obviously, if she has V-Trigger and things like that to kind of hold you down.
Yeah, I did mention that. I just don't remember exactly when that came up. I mean, it's clearly I'm behind in at least some of these rounds here.
And get that chip away, too. So he was like, you know, I'm going to take the chance. And it worked out for him. And now we are all even out 1-1. Round 1. Tight sets here.
Neutral game battle going on between these two. They're both willing to be quite patient here. Shine finding the counter hit into a bit of pressure for himself, but that's not a ton.
Another issue, and I think this is happening occasionally here, is that when you are on commentary in this way, it's harder to hear your co-commentator at the same exact time, right? We both have headsets on, right? Yeah, we do. Well, he has little things on, but you know, if you are on live in-person commentary, you instantly know when the co-commentator is talking. You hear it in real life, and you see their mouths yapping away, like, right there. So it's easier to tell. Occasionally here, rarely, but occasionally, I've talked over St. Cola, and I wonder if that's what's happening. It's a weird match in some ways in terms of commentary.
So he was like, you know, I'm going to take the chance, and it worked out for him. And now we are all even out 1-1. Round 1. Tight sets here.
Neutral game battle going on between these two. They're both willing to be quite patient here. Shine finding the counter hit into a bit of pressure for himself, but that's not a ton.
Okay, what happened there? Let's listen to this a couple times.
Shine finding the counter hit into a bit of pressure for him. Shine finding the counter hit into a bit of pressure for himself. Willing to be quite patient here. Shine finding the counter hit into a bit of pressure for himself.
So I think in my mind, the reason that this double talk happens is maybe a product of not having commentated with each other before. So here, let's play back.
Be quite patient between these two. They're both willing.
What are you behind? Ah, okay. Well, there you go.
Willing to be quite patient here.
It's super weird, dude. Online commentary. Okay, so but
neutral game battle.
Ignore that part. Let's so we have a technical issue, but let's say that hadn't happened. Let's just talk about this.
Going on between these two. They're both willing to be quite patient here.
So in my mind, this is the moment in which if St. Cola wanted to start talking, this is when he does it. You could tell my voice drops off. You know, declarative sentence.
They're both willing to be quite patient here. Shine finding.
He didn't. So I talk.
Getting the counter hit.
This is a different pitch of voice, right? The little inflection at the end there is a little different. Listen to the two.
They're both willing to be quite patient here.
Here.
Shine finding the counter hit.
Counter hit. It's a really small point, but I think it's again, turns out not the reason there was lag, but let's say that there wasn't. Giving the co-commentator a sign of when you are done talking is super important. And I want to make that as clear as possible. And part of how you do that, especially in a situation where you can't see them. If you can see them and you see them like leaning forward, or they're like, you know, we gesture to each other a lot in person. You can't do that here. So instead, it's all voice. And I want to make super clear when I am done. Like in that sentence. Right there. Over. It's over. And I want to make it clear that sometimes I want to keep going. Right? Like, that's... You got to send clues. You got to send clues to the co-commentator about what your intentions are coming up. So, okay. I mean, this isn't what actually happened here. I guess there was lag. You were behind. But that is something that I'm constantly trying to set up. I'm constantly trying to set up what my intentions are for the next little phrasing.
Into a bit of pressure for himself, but that's not a ton. Same thing for Cammy here. She kind of threatens with corner control at least, though. And that's where CJ is.
Going back to the old, dive kick and the medium kick right there, too, as well. The pokes. Oh, there's the V-skill, though. Rearing back. Able to avoid that.
Shine again, just putting in so many frames there where he's blocking. He's really not taking big risks, even in pressure, and they're both playing that way.
Taking the dive kick, though. V-trigger flavored. Going in with the meaty stuff. No vegan. Counter hit.
Nice.
Shine.
It was actually kind of funky timed as the meaty. The meaty missed, but the rest of it worked out.
Yeah, it looks like Shine kind of stood there for a little bit, but you know what? Gotta make the return happen the next round. Brush it off.
Just picked exactly that moment to move backwards, but here now is Shine picking the right moment to move forwards, trying to again force the opponent into the corner.
I think that was a little bit more clearly done. So let's listen to my voice and the way it goes up and the way it goes down. And, in American English, like the intentions of that is I'm going to continue talking until I'm done.
Trying to again was Shine picking the right moment to move forwards, trying to again force the opponent into the corner.
The EX kunai helping out so much too in that approach.
That's what it does. That's the job of that move. And it's one of the best in the game at making
Even
your
nerf.
way in, even now.
Yeah, I mean, even nerfed, it's still super strong.
Yeah, they've nerfed that thing a couple of times over the years, and still very strong.
Still get in move. Crouching mini kick doesn't convert anything. Gotta be a counter hit to really
Oh,
do
wow. Okay, nothing this time. CJ didn't want to take the risk. We saw what happened before. He's fully loaded, by the way. He comes in. He would love to see her get rid of that V-bar. I don't think it's happening. Instead, EX.
Counter hit, V-trigger activation. The Ninja Star, the Naruto. The cycle block, CJ.
Yet again, and here is CJ, and super is what it's going to be because dash in. He'll have one mix-up to take the game. What'll it be?
Look for your
The
pockets.
patience, and Shine knew it.
Shine still low on health. He still has a little bit more resources to play with, but he doesn't have any kunai.
He has,
can't
yeah, you're right.
stock up for free.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy get in at this point. Going to be tough to find the moment to restock, as you said, especially somebody like CJ with those reactions. He can just drill in there ASAP. 17. Challenge! Oh, that was so sick. Yes, -2, and that means that it's the opponent's turn. And I love that there was just the cool, collected walk-up grab there for CJ as the solution.
Right. He knew what he had to.
It's not -2. That was from last year. So I guess it's true then that what I said before when I was like talking about whether to challenge against Ibuki after Ibuki V-trigger, I was like, Shine didn't have EX meter to do an EX DP after throwing it out, and that just doesn't work anymore. It's -4. So I guess I didn't know, which is weird. That's weird. I play against Ibuki not uncommonly. Why would I not know that? Ugh, I don't know what to tell you on that one. That's weird. Anyway, I'm mad at myself for not remembering that this is now punishable in this season. Like, I do it. I do the punish. I definitely... I've even done cool punishes on this. I've done Honda stand short, jab hands, activate V-trigger. Like, I've done the cool punishes, and I didn't remember here. I don't know why that is. That's weird. I don't know what to tell you on that front. But a lot of the other of this commentary so far, I think is okay. I just think that it's a little bit colored by the fact that both of us are having tech issues. And yet, that is a circumstance that we have to deal with, especially now and for the foreseeable future when we're just not going to have offline play or commentary for a long time. Those fellas in the UK are doing offline, in-person commentary for online events now, which does not seem like a good idea to me. The UK, not quite as stupid about COVID as my country is, but they're not great about it. And so I'm surprised that they're willing to do that. But they, I guess, are. We're not. And so I got to get used to these little hiccups. I don't know. Got to think about it. I don't know what you're talking about, Tubo. I don't get the reference.
You executed it, and now he is one away from putting Shine into the losers as our first match of top 8. And the adjustments that he has, just, you know, dealing with Shine, his resources, things like that, knowing when he can go in, knowing when to not overextend, and knowing when to take those turns and take them well. It's great play. We're gonna have to see if, you know, Shine has any more tricks up his sleeve. You know, this is a Buki, even nerfed this season, still very strong.
Fight.
I'm definitely doing something over there. Maybe this was when the tech issues are happening. Maybe it was just this. Was it just like the whole set? I don't know. But you could see I'm just not even looking. I'm like not even paying attention. Look at this. Look at me.
Fight.
Not even looking. I'm probably not going to talk for a while here because I feel like I'm about to fix some tech issues.
-4 now.
Oh, what? What are you, come on. Come on. I'm not happy with this at all. Why would, that was bad. This is bad. This is a bad idea. Here's what happened, I guess. I'm trying to think back into my own head. Now I say.
-4 nowadays, actually.
I don't like this for a couple of reasons. One, we've moved on. The match has moved on. It's next game. It's not even like 5 seconds later where you could be like, oh yeah, I just remember. No, this is a new game. Like, let's talk about the game. So it's bad to go back in time as I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, I guess, make up for my error. It was an error to say it's -2. It's not. It's -4. I'm trying to make up for that by being like, oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And it's too clear. It's too obvious when somebody does that. Just wait for the next situation. He's definitely going to activate. For sure, in this game. Like, at some point, Shine will activate it. And when that happens, maybe that's the time to talk about it. If ever he does it on block again, that's the time to talk about it. Now is not. This is a bad call. So, I think for the most part, I haven't been unhappy with most of my commentary. I think some of it could have been a little sharper. But this sequence of not knowing that it's -4 and then just bringing up that it's -4 is not good.
An anti-air using the back medium. It's a DP right after the dash up. Shine with a little bit more pressure this time. Instead of, you know, outside the distance of that medium kick, just kind of going in a little bit more.
Yep, finding a little bit of a path.
Where am I? This is... It's not good. Whether for technical issues or whether for me just being frozen because I just, like, made an error and then did an embarrassing try to catch up on it. I don't know why I'm not talking. It's one of those two. And either way, it's not good.
Oh, I love that over it. That was so smart, so smooth right there by CJ to get over. And right back into this more comfortable neutral game for himself. He's got that trigger ready to go.
Again, right now, switching back up to that pacing where you're outside that medium kick distance.
Go.
Why would I end the sentence like that? Why would I end it in the intention that I'm going to keep talking?
Love that over it. That was so smart, so smooth right there by CJ to get over.
So that's the end.
And right back into this more comfortable neutral game for himself. He's got that trigger ready to go.
Maybe I just thought that he was about to activate. That actually might be it. Maybe I just thought that like CJ is gonna do crouching fierce here or something. I don't know. That's not good though. You know, I'm basically trying to play the mix-ups at this moment, if that's what I'm doing here. And sometimes that's fine, and you look cool when it happens, but if you do it in a situation like this, I don't know that anybody else even notices, but this is, I mean, typically I'm trying to set up whether I'm going to talk next time, and I think I got ahead of myself here. Not a great round. I got to tell you guys, this is not a great round so far. This is the last, like, 2 minutes of real time in this set. Could be better.
Again, right now, switching back up to that pacing where you're outside that medium kick distance, using the B skill preemptively, and building up that bar.
Here it is. Trying to knock on the door a couple of times. Shine, keeping it closed. And right back into the mix. Gave the opponent just a little bit of frames there to get in. Wow, what a trade combo. That was super sick on Shine's part. He's back in here with that V-trigger looking for the confirm.
Oh, but the only confirm is coming from CJ Truth as he catches him coming on in. Door in the face for the super, the finish. CJ Truth on match point, looking to send Shine down to losers.
That was good.
So Shine with that first game, and it's really just been CJ taking games since then. I don't feel like it's felt as if it's a blow up. And yet you look at the score and it's almost 3 in a row. Again, that reaction, are you serious? He gets right over it.
By the way, CJ is so good.
He saw the feet get off the ground. He said, sit back down, CJ Truth. So very dominant. That B skill, clean outside the distance isn't working out. There's a neutral jump. Dealing with that B skill. Finally working out for CJ Truth.
His reactions are on point right now. Okay, anti-air comes through.
It's right after.
Nice damage for himself into the pressure in the corner. CJ, dangerous man though. Wow, okay, so actually with the command dash, stealing a little bit of a turn right there was Shine. And for CJ not to react to that quite in time means that he just wasn't looking for that thing at all.
So very dominant. That B skill, clean outside the distance isn't working out. There's a neutral.
So I think here's part of what happened. I don't think that I handled this badly. I just want to tell you what I think happened. I saw this of the neutral jump roundhouse directly into drill because the roundhouse sits at a range where probably crouching medium kick doesn't connect. Like probably no cancelable button connects here. But her drill is super fast, and so you can just do drill. And that's really your only option at max range. And he did it. And I think what I wanted to say here was, wow, amazing reactions. But instead,
isn't working out. There's a neutral jump. Dealing with that B skill. Finally working out for CJ Truth.
I didn't want to interrupt because I felt like Sankola was doing a good job with what he was doing. And I didn't think that my point of CJ has good reactions was like so novel that I needed to like interrupt him. Yeah, no. So I hold on to the idea for a little bit.
His reactions are
right.
Out for CJ Truth.
Well, I just let it play.
Finally working out for CJ Truth.
His reactions are on point right now. Okay, anti-air comes through.
So I'm still holding on to that idea. And when I see that there's another chance, after this corner knockdown, right, here's...
Very dominant. That B skill, clean outside the distance isn't working out. There's a neutral jump. Dealing with that B skill. Finally working out for CJ Truth.
That's another opportunity to talk about the reactions. And I didn't want to take up so much time that I would say, the drill, I didn't want to get back into that story. But I just felt like if somebody had watched and like understood what happened, those last 2 sequences were really good reactions by CJ.
His reactions are on point right now. Okay,
and that's it. And maybe if nothing else had happened, maybe if they just go back to playing footsies, maybe I talk about why the last 2 things were important. But we moved on. The match has moved on. Now there's something else happening. And so
his reactions are on point right now. Okay, anti-air comes through.
And so, it's time to move on. It's time to go on to the next thing that's happening. And I do not want to get stuck on things that happened a long time ago. That's why I think it's dumb that I brought up the -4. Part of why that I think it's dumb that I brought that up. No, just move on.
It's right after.
Nice damage for himself into the pressure in the corner. CJ, dangerous man though. Wow, okay, so actually with the command dash, stealing a little bit of a turn right there was Shine. And for CJ not to react to that quite in time means that he just wasn't looking for that thing at all.
Yeah, that's something that's coming out later on in this game, right?
If he did a bad job, would I talk over him? Yeah, buddy, that's right. I'm on a steamroller. I'm going. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, of course. I mean, not usually. Not usually. No. But sometimes. I was saying it earlier. Sometimes you gotta interrupt.
Here again, first to three gives you more opportunities to pull out more of those tricks. What an anti! He's in the crouching medium kick. Able to check out the dive kick, but still, this could be anybody's game right now. Remember that CJ Truth is still on match point, but Shine looking to make a comeback.
So much great life. Okay, now it's gone. Yeah, CJ is caught in the corner for 20 seconds in this round so far.
Dominating right now.
Still with that perfect yes. Shine, what a battle back. It did seem like it was all momentum for.
Speaking of battle,
So far.
Dominating right now.
Still CJ is caught in the corner for 20 seconds in this round so far.
Dominating right now.
Still with that perfect yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could go either way on whether I should have stopped talking or not. I don't have a strong opinion on that, I guess. But there's a little back and forth to see who would talk, and, you know, I don't know. I mean, it would have been fine, I think, if either one of us had kept going.
Fine, what a battle back. It did seem like
On the other hand, maybe one of us couldn't hear the other. That's actually completely plausible.
it was all momentum for CJ. He almost took
Right.
3 games in a row, and yet Shine battling extremely well, coming back 2-2.
I feel like Shine's under.
I definitely forgot the score. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes here.
2 extremely games in a row, and yet Shine battling extremely well, coming back.
What happens here is that as I'm talking, I'm like, wait, I'm about to say it's 2-2. Is it 2-2 or is it 2-1? And I just forgot. Like, what's the score? I have no idea what the score is. I don't know. So I have to look at the screen. You see my eyes looking at the screen. This is not like a big deal, but like, that's what happened.
Back 2-2.
I feel like Shine's understanding when not to get scammed by the scammy cammy. He knows to put his wallet in his front pocket instead of the back pocket, right? He understands to stay away from situations that could turn the tide for CJ Truth. Now we are 2-2. Final game.
Strong pressure in that corner from Shine, and it wasn't anything that was, you know, overly oppressive. It was just him looking to be at the right spots on screen, pressing the right buttons at the right time. Much easier said than done.
It's a weird thing to keep saying. And maybe this also is explained by the fact that I'm behind. Maybe I don't think that I can contribute on the spot moments, but this is too late. This is too late to be saying this stuff.
Wasn't anything that was
For CJ Truth. Now we are 2-2.
Now it's next game. It's next game.
Final game.
strong pressure in that corner
What are you doing?
from Shine, and it wasn't anything that was, you know, overly oppressive. It was just him looking to be at the right spots on screen, pressing the right buttons at the right time. Much easier said than done.
You should have cut me off. That was stupid. You should have cut me off. That was bad. It's bad commentary. This is definitely the moment to cut me off. If I ever do this, just ram in there. It is 15 seconds into the second round. Into the next game round. Next game we're talking about here. And the final game. What am I doing? This is bad. Seriously though, if your co-commentator is doing this in the last game, talking about the previous game, there is pressure.
If it was just him,
Final game.
strong pressure in that corner.
If I had started this and then recognized that Shine is now pressuring again in a similar way, and I had likened it to the stuff that is happening, instead of saying, back then, the pressure was good, I could just say, he has good pressure, look at it, here it is.
From
Plus on block, medium kick, right? Looking for hit confirms the crouching short medies, like, here it is. I could just be saying it, but I'm bringing it back to the past game, and that's bad.
that was, you know, overly oppressive. It was just him looking to be at the right spots on screen, pressing the right buttons at the right time. Much easier said than done.
Like, it's not even particularly insightful commentary. The right buttons at the right time. Yeah, it is. What do you mean? Talk about how standing meeting pick is +2. Talk about how I don't know, jab is plus on block. Like, there's things he's looking for hit confirms. What are they? Like, there's stuff you could be saying. I'm pretty unhappy with this commentary right here. This is bad.
EX, Kunai coming through, able to land, get the right after, another throw.
Look at this! Look at that range! It was so perfect! And the back throw, it was for pixels on the health bar. It's match point, Shine.
That part was fine. The end of this is fine. But the beginning half of that round it was a lot of bad choices for me. What? What do esports commentators do? I'm not sure what you mean, Tubo. Oh, one of St. Cola's biggest problems beyond talking too fast is interrupting people. Nah, you got to do it sometimes. It's important. You can't play a whole match without doing a single reversal. You have to make clear that you're willing to interrupt. And if you recognize that something is not going right, get in there. Shadow HB3 says, David, do you feel that things would be a little better if there was a little more structure? Like, say, one be assigned to play-by-play and the other person on color? Nah, we don't need that. I think that is a relic. That's a relic of an old time when it made a lot more sense. I think that makes sense in a radio context. And I think the only reason that it was applied to TV sports is that that was what the people who began doing TV sports were accustomed to. They were radio commentators who were brought in for TV. And then the new TV commentators saw that and they applied the same structure. I think it's just kind of it has roots that nobody bothered digging up. But in video game commentary, we don't need to do that. We don't need to start out doing things that were not good. It's not good to have such a bifurcated role. I feel like that makes it much less... It makes it less interesting. It has the positive of, yes, more structure and you know what your role is and you know when you should supply whatever your role is. But it also cuts out a lot of the potential interesting back and forth. It cuts out a lot of the personality of the people who are on the mics. I don't want that. I think that we don't need it. And by the way, in esports, yeah, it happens sometimes, but they have done a really good job at getting more interesting. I would say that's true for many of the esports. Their early commentary was super boring, very boring. And I think that they've done a good job at becoming more interesting. And part of that is having less obviously bifurcated roles. They do it, it still exists, but it's less stark than it used to be, and I think that's to their benefit. So I don't want us to adopt that. I just don't think that we need that. Absolutely, they'd be less powerful, for sure. Let's watch the rest of this match here.
Shine making a comeback right now. Return to the mag.
That was a little too high right there. I love the idea, and we did see it work from CJ earlier on, but right there, just not at the right spot.
Some spike delays, and I wonder if he's trying to bait out a DP, but this one comes through from CJ Truth.
There he
the
is.
pressure, the crouching media kick,
No.
but no confirm. What a drop. You don't really see that from CJ Truth too much.
He's done it a couple times this set. Yeah, very strange. Dan slips in. And here now is CJ looking exactly like we were saying before. This time he does get it. EX, it's not enough.
Oh, but the jab. Final game, final round of the first set of CPT NA East 2. People, you couldn't write any better right now.
So that's a good capitalization on a key moment right there by St. Cola. I like that a lot. In fact, I think that commentary was mostly good. We took turns well. The things we were saying were good. Nice job.
Get into winners finals. The movement right there by Cammy. And this ability by CJ to kind of shut down the air kunai approach, I think, is so impressive. Tries it okay, yes, and it was correct. That has been a problem for Shine a couple of times. That said, he's got the corner. Here he is.
Throw. Continuous pressure right here.
Yep,
Shine
nice.
To close this
Yeah,
out,
that's
the cross
done.
up.
He's gonna need a little bit more work, but one more mix-up here is gonna be enough.
Reset on the other side. The right after. Shine takes it 3-2 over CJ Truth. Sends him to losers.
So that was really nice. I thought that was well done. Dang, what's going on down there? The end of this last match was good. So let's go back and listen to it a little bit.
Round of the first set of CPT NA East 2. People, you couldn't write any better right now.
So, like I said before, I had some goals, and one of the goals was to help sort of the onboarding of St. Cola. I actually don't think that has gone so great, but I do think that a big part of that was tech issues, CFN slowing down. Maybe my mic was out for a while. Like there was that one round where I didn't talk for like 30 seconds. Weird. So I don't think that that's worked out super great, but I do think that he's done a good job regardless. And at this moment, I felt like this was a sign to me that he was not feeling nervous anymore. That's
Final round of the first set of CPT NA East 2. People, you couldn't write any better right now.
I think that's a nice job. So when I heard that, I thought to myself that I think it'd be cool if he kept that energy going at the end of this round. Whoever wins this, I didn't think that I should be the one to have the big, woo, he won, the winning moment, right? I think it should have been him because I wanted to see how that went. I didn't want to get in the way of that. If he felt like that was something he wanted to do. I mean, if he didn't do it, then I would have hopped in, but I thought that this was a sign to me that I should let him just do it.
Get into winners finals. The movement right there by Cammy. And this ability by CJ to kind of shut down the air kunai approach, I think, is so impressive. Tries it okay, yes, and it was correct. That has been a problem for Shine a couple of times. That said, he's got the corner. Here he is. Throw.
You know, I had a different thought in mind, but I saw that circumstances had changed, and so instead I began speaking about the corner rather than things that had happened before, which you got to do.
Continuous pressure right here. Shine would love to close this out. That's up.
He's going to need a little bit more work, but one more mix-up here is going to be enough.
At this point, you know, I'm waiting to basically confirm whether there's going to be a combo out of it. But if there is going to be a combo here, I want to hit confirm into nothing. I want to hit confirm into letting my co-commentator take the wheels.
Reset on the other side. The right after. Shine takes it 3-2 over CJ Truth. Sends him to losers.
And he did a good job with it. So that's exactly what I was hoping for right there. A really important thing about commentary is that you can't always be the focus of it. In fact, oftentimes you should not be. And I mean that not just as the idea of commentary shouldn't be the focus, but also that you as the individual commentator should not be the focus sometimes. And indeed, oftentimes shouldn't be the focus. It should be your co-commentator as well, very often. And it's a sign of good commentary, not just to take advantage of all these moments. I mean, I could have done this. I could have rammed my way in, and I think that St. Cola probably would have let me. But that would have been worse, you know, than having him just in his first match on CPT. He's excited. He has overcome some of the nervousness. Look at his face right now. He's having a good time. It would have been worse if I had gotten in the way of that. So sometimes you got to step back and be okay with not being the focus or the person who does the proclamation or the winning moment. It is just as important to get out of the way of a good execution on that than it is to have the ability to carry through on a good winning moment, on a good key moment. So anyway, good job to both of us on that. I thought that was nice.
Wow, how about that? Yeah, it really did seem like one moment was all in favor of CJ. Again, it didn't feel like each individual round was a blow-up, but there were nevertheless like 2.5 games that CJ took in a row. And Shine began to find better moments. I'd have to go back and look, I think, at what exactly was the change, but it felt like at one point he was finally finding those EX kunai ranges where CJ wasn't quite reacting. His pressure in both the right corner and then the left corner to end things was very strong, harassing with +2 medium kick. That sort of stuff was just super good. Releasing the kunai from the jump at exactly the right spot so that he could guarantee himself pressure even if it's not EX. That sort of stuff I felt in the corners was really, really big for him.
You know, I mentioned earlier in this commentary set that I didn't think that I had carried through on some of what I wanted to do quite well enough. I had mentioned that my goals coming into this were to make St. Cola's experience easy and to begin to claw back some of the informational style that I think that I had let go too much. I think that I had begun commentating too much without specifics. And while sometimes that meant that I would I would say things like whatever allows you to continue your turn, but I could also phrase that as being +2, right? Those are the same ideas. And I had focused, I think, too much on the idea of non-using specific information. So I want to have some mix of that. And I think this last minute or so of recognizing that St. Cola is feeling better about things and giving him the opportunities to show that and to show himself as a strong commentator, that was good. That helps with him feeling like he's easing into this situation. And then at the wrap-up of it, right? The wrap-up of how is it that this player ends up beating that player? What did they do? I mentioned some absolute specific stuff, particular ranges, particular frame data, and that is the informational side that I want to make sure that I retain. So I'm pretty happy with how the last minute or so went. Earlier on, there was that situation in which I think I did poorly by continuing to talk about something that was just 20 seconds old. It was just, that's a long time in commentary. Commentary is the quest of time management. Things happen quickly, and you gotta be snappy about it, and you gotta be willing to change ideas quickly. And if you get stuck on one thing, it's very noticeable and it hurts the stream. So I don't want to do that, but I did do that in that one instance. So I think there were definitely some things that could have gone better, but at the end of it, when it's more important, I think we did a good job. Hey, what's up, Filthy Rich? I hope things are going well for you. Weird year, but I hope you're doing well. At least as well as can be expected, considering all the crap. What's my criteria for good commentary? I don't want to have a single set of criteria. I think that's wrong. Instead, what I want to have is there's certainly criteria for good commentary. Don't get me wrong. But what I mean by that is it's really important that each commentator have their own personality. And although, as I was saying earlier, I think there's kind of lineages of commentary and archetypes. Nevertheless, I think that all those can be good. Yipes is good, Artosis is good, Eris is good, and everything in between. And it's just a question of whether you're actually carrying through on that. So I don't want to have some specific criteria in the sense of style or anything like that, but other stuff is important. Is your execution good? That is to say, are you stumbling over your words? Are you are you stuttering? Are you adding in lots of filler words are your thoughts well ordered? Are you interrupting things in ways that are ineffective? Is your excitement getting across, or are you just being weird about it? There's a lot of things that I think are maybe more specific questions for individual styles and archetypes. But in general, are you bringing the viewership with you? Are you establishing situations well? Are you bringing through to the audience why something's interesting and that something's interesting? Are you trying to make sure that the audience is having a good time? Are they learning? Are they enjoying themselves? Are they hype? Are you executing? There's a lot of stuff that I think is useful.
Hi there to all of the people you are all of.
Well, thank you very much, Shiki. I hope you're doing well as well. Thanks for the bits. Anyway, the answer of what is good commentary is broad. It's a broad question. I don't think it's something that can be narrowed down easily into a single sentence. I think some people do view, I would say wrongly, but I think that some people do view the criteria for good commentary as being a specific style. But beyond that, yeah, execution, attention to viewership, to audience maybe more accurately, expression of personality, maybe the 3 biggest spots to hit. All right, well, that was cool. I'm gonna fast forward to some random spot. I don't know where this is going to be, but we'll see. And I want to do that because I want to have a view not just of how things were at the start, but of how things were partway through. That's so loud in my ear.
Melty Blood sponsorship coming in.
Yeah, are you going to be sponsoring? Thanks, Shiki. So I'm just going to fast forward and we'll see where we land. And plop. At 3 hours and 8 minutes. This is, I guess, in winners finals between Smug and Shine. We'll see how we're talking.
Is rare to see for anybody, and for Smug, as somebody who I think of as being pretty cautious on defense, typically pretty solid, just waiting, blocking. Not what I'm expecting, clearly not what Shine's expecting.
Absolutely. You got to switch it up. Winners finals, got to do something different. I like the walk back, get away from the throw, be reversal though. Try taking his turn. EX rush punch coming through the neutral, start to spin that bar in a different way.
Yep, ready there, hoping for the crush, nothing came. Shine. Oh, he tried. There it is. He tried it again. Crouch medium kick confirm. Into pressure. Where is he? Well, wherever it was gonna be, didn't matter. It was a 3-frame wake up there for Smug and turns it into the victory.
Wakes up with the mash. That's what's for breakfast. Smug trying to answer back and stem that pressure, stem that momentum that Shine has had this entire time. Plus raise backdash. What a read. Only got hit with the low a little bit. No big deal. Not a lot of damage. Smug not going with the back throw that time. EX to the corner. And the shimmy, the bake, the bite, the buffet of damage. Almost a stun and it's done. Goes with the V skill to make sure that, oh no, he's the bar, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Needy, no vegan.
That's right. I had zoomed myself in because I think that's hilarious since he was already zoomed in. Anyway, I think that was good. I'm down with that. That was fine, right? What do you guys think about that commentary right there? Do you have specific critiques? I would say that I think it was mostly good. Execution was good. There's an informational side to a couple of things in there. At the same time, still plenty of expression and personality, I felt. And I think that we handled the transitions fine. You know, as we're talking to each other, we're kind of passing it back and forth constantly. Didn't really run over each other. I think that was turning out good. I mean, look at this guy's face over here. He's having a good time, which is good to see, right? That's something that's important. You got to be having a good time on commentary. It's a fun gig. You get to talk about things you love, which is cool. It's a lot of fun for sure. And he's having a good time, which is important, right? You're not going to have as strong of commentary if you're bored or if you're overly nervous, if you're nervous to the point of freezing up.
Come here! Get over here!
Hey, all right. Thanks for the raid, Seabats. I hope you're doing well. So we're looking at commentary. I'm analyzing commentary. I'm analyzing, in fact, my own commentary from the Capcom Pro Tour Online NA East. No, it's the sides are wrong. So we're taking a look at this and just listening, sort of breaking it down. I think that little segment right there went fine. So you have to check not just how things start out, because how things start out is really important, but it is one of the moments that is most susceptible to uncertainties in commentary. For a couple of reasons. One is that you may not have commentated with this person before, and so you're feeling it out. You're feeling out the transition points. You're feeling out what they like to say. You're feeling out whether they prefer to be sort of a more analytical commentary, or what do they prefer to be, the hype person, whatever. There's different styles, and you're getting a sense of that. This is now 2 hours into our commentary, this match that I just happened to fast forward to, and that sounded good to me. We're going to keep listening because we'll see, but right there was cool.
Okay.
I feel like it was forever ago that I was talking up Shine now. Was that today? I feel like
That might have been.
there's such a difference right there in that round compared to what we saw in the previous couple of games, where I felt like Shine had such control. All of a sudden now it's Smug, and everything he seems to be doing is exactly the right thing.
It's wild to me because
There could have been a little bit more specificity there. I guess maybe I had, well, depends on whether I had been specific in the matches. At the end of that, we just watched that last round. That last round, I did have some specific, concrete things that I picked up on, right? Spacings or timings or whatever. If you then wrap up by talking about more generalities, that makes sense. So I guess I would have to judge whether that was a strong sort of in-between game encapsulation on listening to more of what we had said in the previous game. I'm not sure, but it could be good. It could be good for sure.
It's like that, pulling back on some of those moves that have gotten him in trouble. Some of the dash traits and things like that, switching up his approach, now going for the EX bar to kind of get in, catching Shine off guard. And now, your game point for either. Yeah, dash up throw.
Right.
It's a crush too. Beast skill pop up. You know, the Dempsey roll. Going anime with it. Oh my, the upper for the anti-air. Shine answering back. B reversal back in the corner.
Oh, that's not plus. Nope. Did not have the V skill anymore.
I wish I just said it was like -4. I don't know. Why did I say that's not plus? Well, maybe I had... Again, hard to judge with the just jumping right into it. It's like watching a fighting game match halfway through. You don't know what the groundings were, and so if somebody keeps like trying to jump in a situation, maybe it's because the opponent did 5 command grabs in a row. And if you didn't see that part, you're not going to get the whole context. So I'm not really sure here. But if I had been saying things... If I had been talking a lot about the fact that, you know, V-skill dash is advantaged on block, that kind of stuff. EX is, I think, +4. Yikes. If I had been talking about that a lot, then maybe this saying, by contrast, this is not plus. Okay. Okay. But again, we weren't watching, so I'm not sure.
Smug dashing in. He got dash forward grab before. This time it would try to roundhouse. No dice. Here's Shine pressuring.
You're also able to save him from a lot of damage, but still stuck in the corner. This is looking long with the target combo.
Hold on. Gives it up. He probably wasn't going to build it at that point. And oh, it's not enough. Hold on a second. Jumps back.
He's still in it. Great tech to stay alive.
There's no more kunais. Oh my
the
god.
Crush. EX dash punch to the corner. The trade still in Shine's favor. Shine match point. Your game point for either. Yeah, dash up throw.
Right.
It's a crush too. Beast skill pop up. You know, the Dempsey roll. Going anime with it. Oh my, the upper for the anti-air. Shine.
Wait, as a gameplay question, was that EX dash punch, and does Boxer only lose V-skill charge if he actually connects with dash? Hold on.
Oh my, the up.
Was that EX dash or was that EX upper?
Going anime with it. Oh.
Was this EX low rush? Oh, maybe it's EX low rush. Oh, yeah, okay.
My, the upper for the anti-air. Shine answering back. B reversal back in the corner.
Oh, that's not plus. Nope. Did not have the...
And hearing it back again, I think the way that I'm phrasing this implies to me that I have been talking about it being advantaged. Because the way that's not plus is the converse of talking about how plus it is. Right? Maybe that's what happened. I don't remember specifically, but it seems likely.
V-skill anymore. Smug dashing in. He got dash forward grab before. This time it would try to roundhouse. No dice. Here's Shine pressuring.
I think you could hear me almost stumble. This execution is maybe not fantastic, but I feel like I saved it slightly. Listen to this.
Dice. Here's Shine.
Almost a little bit of a stutter. And the things that I have the most trouble with when I do stutter are round starters. Are sentence starters. The beginning of sentences are the hard part. Sometimes I get trapped on s or th. That kind of stuff trips me up sometimes. But it's typically round start. Sometimes. So one of the ways I've learned to get around that is to just not start sentences with those sounds. Just to think about how instead I should approach the same meaning in a way that begins with something that I can say without having to worry about whether I'm going to stutter. So that's my biggest strategy for getting around it. That means that I have to constantly pay attention to what I'm about to say, which is probably good for learning how to commentate. Although I started doing that way before commentary was a thing. Anyway, almost I think there was a stutter here, but not quite.
This time we tried a roundhouse, no dice. Here's Shine.
Yeah, for sure. Here's Shine. Like there's a little freeze, right? If this is me trying to complete some combo, like I almost drop it. Thankfully, it's like a 3-frame link instead of a 1-frame link, right? I think that's that's what's going on.
Pressuring.
You're Russell able to save him from a lot of damage, but still stuck in the corner. This is looking long with the target combo.
Hold on. Gives it up. He probably wasn't going to build it at that point.
And for a lot of the rest of this, I feel like I'm able to flow pretty well. Maybe a little bit better than at the beginning. Again, that's not uncommon.
Oh, it's not enough. Hold on a second. Jumps back.
He's still in it. Great tech to stay alive.
There's no more kunais. Oh my
The
god.
crush. EX dash punch to the corner. The trade still in Shine's favor. Shine match point.
This is another one of those situations where I think that it was good that I cut myself off. Listen to me like bite off the words almost. You can just barely hear me begin this sentence.
Stay alive.
There's no more kunais. Oh my
The
god.
crush. EX dash punch to the corner.
So the way that he ends this EX dash punch in the corner, that's still kind of at a phrasing, at a maybe a pitch that I interpret typically as being end of turn, but it may not be. And so I'm not gonna commit to saying the next thing, to the transition. I'm not gonna barge in there, right? I'm gonna feel it out. I'm gonna feel it out a little bit. We'll see how it goes.
The trade still.
Did you hear that? That's me feeling it out and then hearing him talk, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Boy, no more. Let him handle this part.
EX dash punch to the corner. The trade still in Shine's favor. Shine match point.
And then he did a good job with it. So again, it's important to not just be able to do the key moments yourself, but also to recognize when the co-commentator is going to be doing the key moments, and thereby let them capitalize. And when they do well, you're doing well. That's how commentary is. It's a collaborative effort. And you cannot always be the one commentator to handle the cool moments. Doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. Yeah, Beowulf, that's how I look at it. I look at it very much like a fighting game match.
I think that must just have been a funky timing on the meaty. That's what he tried for before last game. After all.
And that's a little bit of the more informational side. So this is me biting back when, maybe not biting back, that's kind of not the right phrase there, but biting off the moment and letting him talk. And then, okay, you did the hype stuff. Cool. Now it's my turn to do a little informational bit.
Or before last have been a funky time. I think that must just have been a funky timing on the meaty. That's what he tried for before last game. After all.
Maybe I didn't need the long pause before after all. But other than that, I think the goal of that's correct.
You gotta let it cook, David. You gotta let it cook with a little sear on it.
Shine just a little bit of a dash. Okay, finding it.
Okay.
Down. Oh wow, walks up in fact. Walks up in fact again, and Shine maybe taking too much of a turn there.
EX, the corner, the dash. With the base skill, able to build a ton of power in terms of damage.
Wow, reset
up,
right into
family.
runs directly, and now here comes the mix-up by Shine. Whatever. Working on the stun.
Oh, and it's done. But not done all the way. He still needs another mix-up. On the other side, great blocks. My man mashed out. Smug.
Smug
At the far going to super.
Wow.
Gets a command grab. Final game. Final round. Smug versus Shine to move on to Grands. Winner's side. And what you want this. You need this. You want to have that position going into Grand Finals. To have the extra set to play if you need it.
Yeah, that was too long. But I've been guilty of that in these sets as well. Let's go back to about midway through this round. Whatever.
Shine maybe taking too much of a turn there.
Almost execution drop. Turn there.
EX, the corner of the dash. With the base scope, able to blow up a ton of art. In terms of damage,
Wow, reset
up,
right into
hammer.
runs directly, and now here comes the mix-up by
So in this situation here, let's listen to what St. Colette
the
said.
base scope, able to blow up a ton of art. In terms of damage,
Wow,
Okay, so he had sort of left the open-ended ending to that sentence. I guess I interpreted it as being my turn, but I can see why he continued to talk. That makes sense. I mean, it's maybe not as clear as it could have been either way. But then when I began talking, he stopped himself, which is good. Again, you have to sometimes feel out these little moments, and like I just did earlier, just end it, just move. Let the co-commentator carry on.
reset
up,
right into
hammer.
runs directly, and now here comes the mix-up by Shine. Whatever, working on the stun.
oh,
It's-
and it's done.
Just like this, right? Like, so I can understand why he took over at that point.
Whatever, working on the stun.
Oh,
It's-
and it's done.
Actually, maybe not. Maybe I do feel like that was me setting myself back up to talk. The stun. I mean, in American English, when you have a kind of upwards inflected sentence at the end, the pitch is rising. It tends to mean you're going to continue to talk. And when you end a sentence falling down, that's typically the close of the thought, right? That's typically how it works. So anyway, not a big deal, but I think that was a moment where I felt like I was probably intending to continue. But anyway, I heard that he continued, or I heard that he took over. So
But not done all the way. He still needs.
it's fine. I let him go. yeah, it is harder online. It is harder on. It's just less precise. You know what I mean? It is similar to playing a fighting game match online, in the sense that there are moments when, in an offline setting, if I'm commentating with somebody and they're like right here, or they're like right here, we're next to each other, I can get a sense about what somebody wants to do in the next instant, not just by how they phrase something, not just by the timing, and not just by the inflection that they use, whatever it is, whatever verbal cue, but also by their body language. Maybe they're going to lean forward a little bit more. Maybe they are going to look at me. Maybe they're going to lean in some way. Maybe instead they're checking frame data or whatever, and I can see that, and so I know that they're not going to talk. You don't have any of those in-person tells, just in the same way that in a fighting game match, you don't have any of those in-person tells when you're playing online. And on top of that, there's the technical issue of sometimes the mics go in and out a little bit. You know how VoIP works, right? Nothing is perfect. And that happens sometimes, especially in the first set that I looked at earlier. And sometimes there were tech issues with CFN. Sometimes I was way behind on commentary. Sometimes he was. And so we just had to figure that stuff out. And it's just going to be less precise, just in the same way that it will be with online fighting games, with playing games. So yeah, there's a lot of crossover for sure. For sure. A big intake of breath. Yep, that is another way to tell. Absolutely. You hear the little that kind of stuff. That's a tell for sure, for sure.
Another mix-up on the other side. Great blocks. My man mashed out. Smug.
Smug
The bar going to super.
Wow.
Gets a command grab. Final game. Final round. Smug.
When you have people talking over each other, it's usually, well, maybe not usually, it's often negative. It often obscures things, yada yada. You can't really understand what the other one is saying. But if one is just expressing some emotion in the sense of wow or oh, or something just exclamatory, that's not doesn't have particular word meaning, it's just something like that, then the co-commentator can talk over that without really feeling anything negative. I think that can still be good. I think that's how this went here. Let's listen to this.
Smug
The bar going to super.
Wow.
Gets a command grab.
I think that's totally fine. I'm not opposed to that at all. So I'm just being like, wow, and the meaning of that is basically, you know, that was amazing. That was cool. What an idea. He got the grab. Like, there's any, you know, you can expound a little bit, but you don't need to have that said for what I was saying.
Wow.
It's a command grab.
And it's the same kind of thing for what Sankola was saying. These are complementary. I feel like they can be complementary. I mean, that said, you don't want to go to that well very often. I would not typically want that kind of interaction. Typically, I'd want one of us to bite it off, but sometimes I think it's totally good, especially in a big moment like this. This is to tie it up, right? This is good.
Great blocks, my man mashed out. Smug did the part.
Okay, so I'm about to say that Smug did dash punch because he was looking for super confirm, but he didn't quite build enough super meter. I don't specifically remember, but I feel like that's something I would have said in this instance.
No, Smug.
Because, right, look, he's so close to getting super. Like, I really think he was just expecting to have super cancel.
Great blocks, my man mashed out.
Right.
Smug did the part going to super.
But then it no longer was relevant because something more interesting was happening, and also at the same time, Sankola got there. So there's no reason for me to continue to say anything about the meter. No, move on. You hear me say this a lot. Move on. It is such a key feature of good commentary to understand that it is about managing time resources. It's about opportunity cost at all times. What could you have said in some instance, and what did you say? And would it have been better if you had said the other thing? Or in fact, if you hadn't talked at all? Did you use your time in the best, most efficient way that you could? Constantly, that's a major concern. In fact, other things that are representative of good commentary, like strong execution, not stumbling. Part of why that's important is that it sounds better to not stumble, but another part of why it's important is that you are thereby conserving time better. Move on.
Wow.
It's a command grab. Final game, final round. Smug versus Shine. Let's move on to Grands. Winner's side. And what you want this. You need this. You want to have that position going into grand finals to have the extra set to play if you need it.
All right, so moving on. No.
EX. Yep. V skill 2 time. Now is the threat of that +2 dash punch. +4 if he wants to spend the bar on it.
What a whip using the B skill.
It's a lot of caution areas.
I haven't really talked about this yet, but the quality of your voice is super important as well, I feel. And I've really tried to institute mix-ups in that. Listen to how I said this. Think about what has to be happening in my throat to be talking like this.
It's a lot of caution areas.
What does that impart, right? To me, that imparts this is tense. It imparts tension. And I want to establish this as being a tense moment. One of these players moves into grand finals. Like, Sankola just said it. He was talking about it. I want to impart the same kind of stressful nature, the same kind of tension by tensing. That's the goal, anyway.
And here it is. In fact, they both used it. I almost feel like Shine was happy to see that V skill 2 charge. He got some Kunais back.
He needs that resource, right? Ibuki needs that resource to continue that pressure.
Oh-ho!
Look at the damage going.
Super!
Look at the damage. That's enough to do it! Shine! Getting pieced up by that super, the CA to CA losers. It's gonna be Smug in grand finals, winner's side. CPT in AE's 2. Smuggles settle in winner's side.
That super did so much damage. Oh my.
I didn't.
Well, not the best execution on winning moment, I think, from either of us.
It's a lot of caution areas. And here it is. In fact, they both used it. I almost feel like Shine was happy to see that V skill 2 charge. He got some Kunais back.
He needs that resource, right? Ibuki needs that resource to continue that pressure.
Oh-ho!
Look at the damage going.
Super!
Usually, the way that I view this is that if somebody begins speaking on the actual killing blow in the killing combo, just let them handle it. So I would say that this is something that, like, that's why I continue to talk.
Damage! That's enough to do it! Shine!
But as soon as I realized that St. Cola was talking, it's cool. Tamp it down. You can handle it. I think in instances like that, it's more important to back off than it is to continue to talk. As far as dead time goes, yeah, other games, other genres are way more full of dead time. If you think about that in the context of just playing the match. So in a StarCraft match, the whole first 3 to 5 minutes, right, is the player's going to go through their build order, they're going to be paying attention to scouting. There's very little direct interaction between the two players. I mean, sometimes, maybe somebody rushes or whatever, but like typically there's minutes of time. And then later on, there will be more, faster moments that commentators have to speak quickly through that they can't really finish ideas through. But there's a lot of time to finish thoughts and to not need to clamp down on your ideas that you've begun to say to move on. Your time management doesn't need to be quite as precise, except in those like big army battle kind of moments. And in fighting games, there's a lot less time in a match, but as commentators, we do have a lot of downtime. We do have a lot of time. This depends on the game, but we do have a lot of downtime. And that downtime is between games and between rounds. So those aren't minutes. Sometimes they're minutes, I guess, but usually not. Usually it's, 10 seconds between rounds or something, depending on the game. And in between games, maybe it's 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Maybe they go back to character select, But usually it's not a ton of time. But there is nevertheless this downtime. And between matches, there's a lot of time. There are minutes sometimes in between matches. So whereas in an RTS stream, you may just start as commentators. Maybe the analysts are talking to the host, and then they throw it to the commentators, and the commentators are like, we're getting in, and it's X versus Y, and at the 12 o'clock position. And they're just right into it. Because they know that immediately thereafter, they're going to have this period of time where they're going to be able to chat. Whereas in fighting games, we do that before, typically, rather than during the match. So, the time management's different for sure, but in some ways, we still do get downtime if you view the commentary set as not consisting just of the game, but also the between rounds, between games, between matches. So that banter is really important in RTS, and it's the same way, but early match banter is really important in RTS. I would say pre-match banter is important in fighting games. But it just tends to be a little bit differently done. Okay, this is cool. This is a good little look at how the commentary went. So key moments, again, super important. How did it start? How does it go when you throw to commercial? How does it go when you come back? How does it go when somebody gets to last round? How does it go when somebody wins finally? There's a bunch of key moments, and those are the ones that are the most important to execute on because they're the most noticeable. If you're listening, those are the ones that you're paying most attention to. So those are the biggest, and I think that we did okay for the most part. I think there was a little fumble here, this last situation, but I think for the most part we either backed off or handled it well. Well, let's fast forward to the end here, and then I'm gonna skedaddle. We'll see how this goes. I don't really remember. Oh, that must have been it. Okay.
Smug still moving to.
And now I don't know how we've been handling this. So here I just fast forwarded, and just again like with a fighting game match, to hop into a set in a random point and try to analyze the decisions that are being made is difficult because you don't get the context of how the decisions that were just made went. They have obviously a gigantic impact on how future decisions go. So I'm not really going to be able to say like whether these decisions are good necessarily that we're about to make. I don't remember them. I can tell you that because I don't know what we were just doing. But anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Towards the corner, big plus, enough that he could walk up slightly to get the grab.
Big plus? Is that what I just said?
He has. Oh no! Well, it didn't get punished. Big plus, enough so he can walk up slightly to get the grab.
Okay.
Smug still moving towards the corner. Any big hit will do it. Shine now is looking for desperate things.
Smug, all he needs is that one final hit to do it right. All that bar at the bottom doesn't get the confirm, gets the crush, the dash up to do it. Smug is your CPT NA East 2 champion. He will be going to Capcom Cup next year.
A 3-1 set. Look, Shine had back.
Okay, I mean, I think that's okay. I think this is maybe not the most elegant way to handle this, but let's go back and see here. Big Plus was your nickname, huh? Oh, man.
All he needs is that one final hit to do it right. All that bar at the bottom doesn't get the confirm, gets the crush, the dash up to do it. Smug is your CPT NA East 2 champion.
Yeah, like I said, when there's a key moment that's coming up, the person who has been talking, as long as it's not for a long time, but if they had just started to talk and then the moment happens, it's, you know, you usually just let them handle it. I don't want to hop in here. That wouldn't make any sense. So he's already talking. Let it go.
Smug still moving towards the corner. Any big hit will do it. Shine now is looking for desperate things.
Smug, all he needs is that one final hit to do it right. All that bar at the bottom doesn't get the confirm, gets the crush, the dash up
Yeah, I think that's fine.
to do it. Smug is your CPT NA East 2 champion. He will be going to Capcom Cup next year.
Almost the combo drop. Almost, but not quite. Not quite. He saved it.
A 3-1 set. Look, Shine had battled back from losses in rounds and in games every other set that we saw. This time it just wasn't enough, and it felt like Smug, even from the beginning of that set, even though Shine did take a game, it felt like he was whiff punishing, like he was getting his offense going, like he was, if you wanted to, backing off and playing defensively. Man, the most amazing thing to me about Smug's gameplay is that he takes this extremely damaging character with mix-ups up close and he makes it look like a monster in neutral, using that as the way to then get in. We've been seeing him play like that for years, and it just never fails to impress me. So here's the look.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So we just had Simcola calling the winning moment. Big key moment. And now I'm bringing back that more analytical side, right? So he has handled the hype, the establishing, the drawing the viewers in. And now I'm like, oh, well, here's what happened. And I think that's a good little balance right there. So yeah, at the end of this, I think is cool. We handled it pretty well. You know, your goal when you're doing a winning moment like this, a tournament winning moment in particular, is to have that call be usable in the future. On trailers, B-roll footage, you know, you want to have it so that if next year Capcom puts out a trailer for the Capcom Pro Tour again, ideally you want to have it so that they have as many cool things to pick from in the previous year. And those are typically, the things that they pick are typically not like a call on some specific mid-match mix-up. Typically what they pick is the winning moment. And so you want to have that sort of teed up already. You want to have it be expressed in a way that they can just instantly use in their trailer or whatever it is, whatever usage like that, right? So that's the goal. Anyway, yeah, I think that's cool. Let's just listen to
the result.
Listen to the closeout here.
Results are Smug, first place overall, Shine. Second place overall, CJ Truth. Third after that was Knuckle Dew. Fifth places were Dan Slip and Terrence. Seventh places were Rob TV and Brutus.
Man, fantastic.
It's pretty clear ending point, I would say, and good execution of just the quick summation of where everybody finished. So yeah, I mean, again, this is the sort of just analytical, informational, maybe at this stage, kind of commentary, and I think that's important to do.
Like, all the way through this top 8. Listen, people may know me as a person with the greatest of predictions. May know me as the Miss Cleo of the FGC. But today, I could not tell you what was going to transpire. Even yesterday, there have been so many changes to probably everybody's fantasy brackets. But at the same time, seeing Smug come through, I can't say I'm 100% surprised. Always a strong competitor. As you said, the whip punch is always on the deck, and really optimizing the character to fullest effect, and had a game plan for not only Ibuki, but Shine, a person he's probably played so many times before, in years upon years in tournaments, casual matches, ranked, everything, right? So, good, big ups to Smug to take this, man. What a match, and what a road he had all the way through the winter side of things.
Yeah,
So
he was never sent.
I think that may not have been the most elegantly expressed set of points, to be frank. Anyway, not a big deal. Yeah, you definitely should have.
To losers. And even before this tournament began, once we saw the brackets, I think many of us identified Smug as a big threat here, and he certainly made good on that. So he made it through Sabin and Child in pools. He then made it through El Chicote in top 16, and then in top 8 he made it through Danslip and Shine, and then Shine again. That's quite a list of players. Also, shout outs to NLBC. They seem pretty good at this stuff. They got some players over there who have done pretty good work now and then.
Yeah, cultivating that
Yeah, that's true. We were considering having Smug on as an interview. It didn't end up working out.
Talent, and hey, New York is a magical place, right?
Yeah, super
In fact, we might have just been talking with the person who did the stream.
super strong stuff by Smug. And like I said, I think that he was one of the favorites going into this thing. So maybe not a big surprise, but nevertheless, very, very cool to see. I'm happy for him there. He's one of my favorite personalities among players as well. Hilarious guy, great stream, highly recommended if anybody hasn't seen it. Shout outs to his stuff on YouTube as well. Here's a look at what's coming up. So in a couple of weeks, we will have the Europe East and Mideast CPT online, September 12th and 13th. You see the times there in Pacific, that's 9 a.m. where I live. Asia Southeast will be the weekend following that. The weekend following that will be South America.
So this is like the wrap-up way of phrasing things, right? You can hear in my voice, it's a little bit slower now. It's declarative sentences each time. Exclamatories are gone. This is the wrap-up. This is what's coming next.
A lot of great Street Fighter V action still coming up throughout the weekends, but man, I wonder what's going to happen this week. After since Smug just did everything the winner side with ROG, are people going to adjust their tier list? Are we going to be seeing more on the timeline? Is it going to be one of those unfortunate things where ROG just shoots all the way up to 5th because that's how it happens, right?
Again, if you are in one of those regions that we just mentioned, consider registering to play in these tournaments here. You will go to Capcom.
I just move on. Oh, wow.
If not, no big deal. Come get some tournament experience, have fun, enjoy it.
It's a great thing about these online tournaments is that it actually makes it very easy for a lot of players who maybe aren't able to make the travel out consistently to have a shot. And if you lose, you just drop your system. You go take a walk and eliminate that salt. You don't have to go through like a 7-hour plane ride or anything like that. You're good to go. So there's no reason not to try out and hit up the online tournaments that we have here. As we said before, take a register for these tournaments that are coming up in the coming weeks. But man, it's been some great Street Fighter V action all the way through, and I'm curious. I can't wait to see the timeline, man. I can't wait to see that my Twitter timeline is going to be blowing up with ROG is top 10. I told you.
Hey, man, I put up a tier list. True story. About a week and a half ago, I had Boxer in high tier. I don't want to. I do want to brag a little bit, actually.
Okay.
I was right. That's all. It's a pretty well balanced game, though. So it's been cool to see everybody's take on different tier lists. Fudo's out there on a quest to find the wonkiest tier list that he can find, and they've been really fun to see. They've been amazing to see because the game is balanced enough that I think many different perspectives can be credibly shared about Street Fighter V and which characters
We had to fill time a little bit, as you can tell.
are where, and even who beats who. There's a lot of different takes on the game right now, and that's the best kind of situation, you know, when it's not cut and dry, when the game is balanced enough, when matchups are close enough that different people can disagree. That tends to mean that things are in a pretty good spot.
Absolutely, especially with the character that we just seen today.
Like I said, or maybe like Sankola said, there was a question that maybe we would get smug up on an interview, and so this is filler time of just trying to kill a couple of minutes until we find out that he's going to be on, or that we find out he's not going to be on. Either way,
Frog, who may not be, you know, top tier, but high enough tier that can, you know, make the work and make the effort. Like if you put in the effort with the character, you can make some great things happen. But man, it's been some great action all the way through this top 8, top 16, all the way through. I've been watching the streams and all the way up to this point. Hope you guys have enjoyed all this great Street Fighter V action. And, you know, David, you got anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, nicely done to Saint Cola on your first CPT commentary. I thought that was pretty sick. How you feeling about it?
You know, I feel like you carried, obviously, but no, I honestly, I love it. I love this game and I love this scene, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm really appreciative of Capcom giving me this opportunity to kind of step on the plate for CPT big league. So hopefully I get to come through again.
Ah, yeah, I'm sure you will. You did great. Cool. All right, well, again, in a couple of weeks, we'll be back with the CPT. The next one's going to be Europe and Middle East. Check it out then. For now, we're going to sign off. Congrats to the players yet again. Shout out to St. Cola. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes as well. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Have a good night.
there you go. I would say that the have a good night is probably not necessary at the end there.
We'll be back with the CPT. The next one's going to be Europe and Middle East.
Like mostly good execution. That little moment there,
Check it out then.
could have done without that.
For now, we're going to sign off. Congrats to the players yet again. Shout out to St. Cola. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes as well. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Have a good night.
Yeah, I don't think it looked bad. I think there's some individual things to point out that we could have done better, but that's how it always is. Nobody's ever perfect. And that is actually a good point for Mech, that you don't know where people are watching from. All right, well, that's going to be it. Thanks for hanging out for a while. Talk a little bit about commentary. I think the grade I would give... A-. I don't know. Pretty good.